Good evening, folks. Welcome to another great adventure in yoga with Craig and the YMCA. I'm proud to be part of the YMCA. I'm happy that the YMCA is able to offer these classes in a live format, as well as later for those folks that want to watch them in a recorded format as well. It's going to be a slow flow class this evening. We'll do some strength stuff. No props required, no perfection required. Only smiles and move, feel good, be happy, enjoy the class. Feet comfortable width apart, standing about 2 fist width between your feet. If you never knew how wide your hips were, 2 fists between your feet, pretty close target. Inhale, nice reach for the ceiling. Exhale and fold. Nice soft knees. Keep those knees really bent, nice and flexed, so that we let your upper body relax and release. Keeping your knees bent will let your back stretch, your back release, keeps the stretch out of these muscles, especially your head and neck. Let those be heavy and just hang. You can cross hands at your elbows. Maybe sway a little bit side to side. 1, 2. Trying a new format of music and a new setup of music. Hopefully that sound is coming through, but not in an intrusive way. We'll find out later. My apologies for not being able to test that in advance. Release those elbows. Inhale and halfway lift. Nice flat back. Think long and strong from the base of your spine through the crown of your head. Exhale and fold. Slowly, slowly, slowly come up. 1 vertebra at a time. I'm just rolling up, saving head and neck for last. Once your head and neck come up, take arms overhead again. Nice reach, stretch. But let your shoulders come down away from your ears. You want to feel this stretch here in these lat muscles, latissimus muscles. When your fingers are engaged toward the ceiling, but shoulders are down and away, that stretch comes more into the lat and a little bit into chest. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Bring your hands down to the floor. We're going to step our right foot back into a lunge. High lunge or runner's lunge. Just letting my body hang here. Get a little deeper into the hip. This back knee can bend. You can take it all the way to the floor if you'd like. I like to keep a little bit of stretch in there and just let my body sink into the lunge. I'm going to push off this back foot and propel my back foot forward to meet the one in front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold and step the other foot back. Same thing here. I'm just letting gravity work. Starting out, body's being supported here structurally by bones and skeleton, but I'm letting it sink a little bit. Letting the hip flexor on the left side here open up as I stretch further into this lunge. And the stretch is really just letting body fall toward the floor. Let gravity do the work. And same thing, I'm going to propel off this back foot and bring my left foot to meet the right. You can bring knee down if you need to slide that forward. Otherwise, just step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. And coming up to stand. Slow, slow, slow again. Nice, slow roll. 1 vertebra at a time. Head and neck are last. Let's take arms overhead. And side bend to the right. We're going to go back and forth a couple of times. Not going real deep to start. I'm just moving across body, opening up one side And going back and opening the other. I'm getting a little lower with each one on each side. One more each side. And coming back up to center. I'm going to do a little interesting balance one. It requires just a little bit of working at balance. It also requires you to think. You're going to reach arms overhead and let your right arm fall behind your head to your left shoulder. Left hand comes behind your head to your right shoulder. Bring those elbows back and flare. This is not the thinking part, and this is not the balance part, but this is the arm part. Take arms back up and come down. There's two parts to this. There's the upper body, which we just did, and then there's the lower body. The lower body is coming up on your toes. Balance is not something you have. Balance is something you constantly work at all the time. Micro adjustments in your body happening a million times a day. Come back down. We're going to incorporate those two. Here's where the challenge really comes into play. I'm going to reach arms overhead. I'm coming up on my toes, and by the time I get to the top of those toes, my hands have touched my shoulders. And I'm going to lower slowly so that my heels touch the floor when my hands get down and touch my thighs. Nice controlled movement. That's the thinking part, is controlling the speed. I'm coming up nice and slow, not going fast because I don't want to get up on toes before my arms and hands reach my shoulders. And then lower, coming back down. You can see I'm not perfect here, so just work at it. It's constant adjustments. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, taking arms overhead. Bringing those hands behind to the shoulder, at the peak of my toes, and coming back down. Looking straight forward is helpful. You have proprioception receptors in the back of your neck, helps your balance. The other thing that can help, long vertical lines. If you're in a room and there's a door in front of you or a frame or any long vertical line will help your balance if you stare at that long vertical line. I'm staring at a door behind you in my room. And coming back down. And we're going to move into some flow. Nice and smooth, nice and slow. Inhale, reach arms overhead. You're at the front of your mat or front of your space. Exhale and fold. Inhale and halfway lift. Exhale and fold. We're going to step back into that runner's lunge like we did before, except hands are nice and firmly planted on the floor so you can slide the left foot back. Plank, and I'm going to lower, nice and slow. Elbows staying in close to your body. Coming all the way down to the floor. I'm pushing into my palms at the line where my fingers meet the top of my palm. It's like I'm trying to slide this carpet or mat forward and away from me out in front. Elbows are going to stay bent here. I'm only coming up part way. Partial cobra, teenage cobra maybe. And lower. Going to push back into all fours and press toes down into the floor. If you feel like you're really stretched here, like you're reaching out too far, just bring your knees in a little closer or slide your hands back a little closer. Toes pushing into the floor, hips come up, downward dog. Walk that dog. Bend one knee, straighten the other leg. Nice moderate flow class. I'm going to walk my feet forward towards my hands. I'm keeping these bent. I'm staying in this tuck, and I'm just walking forward. And my toes touch my backs of my wrist or the bottom of my wrist, where your wrists meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Slowly coming up to stand, taking arms overhead. We're going to repeat that, and we're going to go a little faster this time. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands come down. Step the left foot back this time, and then let the right follow. Lower. Inhale, pushing up for that cobra. Elbows can be soft, or you can start making them a little straighter. We're going to go through this a couple of times, so you can get a little further into that cobra if you like. I like to soften my elbows, push toes into the floor, come back through knees, and push hips up toward the ceiling. And then move forward. This time, walking, stepping, just getting to the front. Not worried about toes touching those wrists. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Coming up to stand. Take arms overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands down, right leg back, left leg follows, lower. Inhale up for cobra. Push back to down dog. Hey, look at that, I can see you guys. How you doing out there? Everybody doing good? Awesome. And move forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Coming up to stand. Take arms overhead. Exhale, fold. We're going to do 2 more of those, and then we're going to add a chair pose in the middle. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step your right foot back. Left foot follows, and lower. Inhale up for cobra. Push back to down dog. And move forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Coming up to stand. Take arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. 1 foot back, other foot follows, and lower. Inhale up for cobra. Back to down dog. Move forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Come up to stand, nice and slow. When you're ready, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. We're going to add a chair pose this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend both knees. I'm probably too close to the wall here. Knees are bent. Hands come forward and up while you're in that squat. I'm setting down into my heels. Keeping my hips pulling forward a little bit tucked with those hips. Protect your lower back. And forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands come down. We're going to flow through that same lunge, plank, lower. Inhale up for cobra. Push back to down dog. And move forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Coming up to stand. Take arms overhead. We'll repeat that. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend knees. Hands come forward and up. And forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step left foot back. Other foot follows and lower. Inhale up for cobra. Come back to down dog. And move forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold.
And slowly come up to stand.
Should feel a little warmer. Got some blood flowing, a little bit of movement going, not fast, but just enough to feel warmer from the inside out. Got to bring my toes together. My heels are apart. I'm going to set down into a squat just to feel where my knees fall into place here, where my feet naturally go, bending like this, putting lateral movement on your knees here. Your feet are going to move a little bit. I just want to feel where they're at before we go into the next series here. Standing back up, reach arms overhead. We're going to do a series of chair poses, different versions. Exhale and fold.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending those knees. Trying to get nice and deep in that bend, in that squat, but I'm keeping weight in my heels. Hands come forward and up.
It's like holding a beach ball. Although I don't think I've ever held a beach ball sitting in a squat. And then forward fold.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Coming up to stand, take arms overhead.
Exhale and fold.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. I'm going to heel toe a foot apart. So I have about a fist width between my feet. I'm going to come into a queen chair. Bending both knees, weight in the heels,
Hands come forward and up. Make sure those hips are coming forward, tucking forward, so you're not arching your back and pushing your bottom out away from you. That arch in your back like that tends to add a pinch to your lower back. Trying to avoid that. Coming to forward fold.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Slowly coming up to stand.
Tuck your shirt in. Take your arms overhead. Exhale and fold, or swan dive.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Heel toe feet apart. And I got about 3 fist widths between my hands, maybe even a little more. King chair. Gonna sit down into that squat. It's a little easier to get down there with those wider knees. Hands come forward and up. You know why king chair is bigger? Because kings usually have bigger bottoms and need the space. And forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. And slowly, slowly, slowly come up to stand.
Might feel a little tension in this lower back. I'm going to add some side bends to help try to release that. Arms overhead, side bend to the right. Not going far, I just want to stretch and loosen that lower back. I'm not trying to reach down and touch my toes. Just a little stretch in the lower back. Side to side. These evening classes, I try not to get crazy with building energy because it just makes it harder to fall asleep. So I'm trying to stretch, relax, have fun, feel at peace, feel like any tension I had going on through the day, I can just kind of let it go. Coming back to the front of your mats, we're going to move into some warrior poses. Take arms overhead. Exhale and fold.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Hands are down for support. Step your right foot back. And then drop that back heel. Heel turns inward, toes point outward at an angle. Here's where I adjust my feet if I feel like I need to. If I feel like I'm too compressed, I try to extend, and I definitely go wide. I have a fairly wide stance in my warrior poses. I think take train tracks so that you have a nice steady base. Bring hands forward and up. Fingers are engaged toward the ceiling, shoulders down away from my ears. I'm not all crazy strict about the form here. I'm just trying to feel strong. Warrior poses, logical thought is strong, steady base. Nice and strong push into the blade of your back foot. Try not to let your foot roll in on the arch. Push into the blade of that back foot. I'm pushing into the toe mound of that front foot, like I'm spreading the floor, spreading the mat, front to back. And then bring your hands forward and slide that left foot back. And we'll lower. Inhale up for cobra. Push back to down dog. And move forward. We'll do each individual warrior once on each side by itself. And then we'll link them all together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Coming up to stand, take arms overhead. Exhale and fold. And we'll go into warrior pose on that other side. Inhale, halfway lift. It's a nice cue to strengthen your back. Flatten your back a little bit so that when you go into the next forward fold, you're getting a little more stretch in these legs instead of your back. Left foot steps back, and then heel goes down. Again, here's where you make adjustments. Bring hands forward and up. Fingers are engaged, shoulders down away from ears. Nice soft knee in the front. Pushing into the blade of my back foot, pushing into the toe mound of the front. And I feel stable here. I mean, I could stay here for quite a while. Also feel like if somebody pushed me side to side, I could withstand a push in any direction. And then bring hands forward. Bring that right foot back and lower. Inhale up for cobra. Push back to down dog. And move forward. I step forward. My knees can't take the hop anymore or the float. But if it's in your practice to float forward, feel free. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Coming up to stand. Nice deep inhale as you reach arms overhead. And full exhale as you fold into forward fold. Inhale, long, strong back, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. We're going to step the right foot back again. Heel goes down, hands come forward and up. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one, like we just did. And now we're going to go into warrior two. Upper body turns to the right as your arms drop forward and back. I'm looking over my front ring finger. Feel like I'm being stretched maybe by a horse on each side, pulling my arms apart. Shoulders pretty well stacked over my hips. Trying not to lean forward in warrior poses, at least not in this version. We're going to transition back to warrior one. Hand comes forward and under. Not real particular about that. I just like that move. That feels good. Hands come forward, leg goes back. And lower. Inhale up for cobra. And pushing back to down dog. Move forward, front of your space, and then we'll do the other side. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Coming up to stand, take arms overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands are down, left foot steps back. Heel drops down. Adjust as needed. Hands come forward and up. Warrior one. And then I'm opening into warrior two. Upper body turns left. Hands come forward and back. Gaze over this front ring finger.
Shoulders pretty well stacked. You guys look amazing. Very nice. Great Virabhadrasana. Back to warrior one. Hands come forward, leg goes back. We're going to add a reverse warrior next. Lower. Inhale up for cobra. Push back to down dog. Move forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Coming up to stand, take arms overhead. Remember everything we just did. We're going to do all that, and we'll add an element at the end of that sequence. Lower, forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Right foot back, heel down. Transition, hands forward up, warrior one. Right into warrior two. Regroup in warrior two here. Now we're going to reach forward with that front hand. Reach as far forward as you can, even if your body tilts. Turn that front palm and then sweep it back across the ceiling. I like to get this hand out of the way. Front knee stays bent. Tension stays out of your face. This nice smile. Come back to warrior two. Back to warrior one. And hands come forward, leg goes back. And lower. Inhale up for cobra. Push back to down dog. And move forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Slowly coming up to stand. Take your arms overhead or tuck in your shirt. Winding up with arms overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Left foot steps back, heel goes down. Hands come forward and up. Warrior one. Right into warrior two. We're going to add the reverse by reaching forward. Flip that front palm. Sweep it back across the ceiling as you lean back. Keep that front knee bent. Pushing into the blade of your back foot like we've been. Face is nice and relaxed. Looking to the side to see you guys in reverse warrior. Come back to warrior two. Back to warrior one. Hands come forward, leg goes back. And lower. Inhale up for cobra. Exhale back to downward dog. And move forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Coming up to stand. Take arms overhead. Part of yoga practice is focus. And that little example there of turning my head sideways in reverse warrior, and we're going to fold forward, was a really good example of not focusing. Also a really good example of multitasking, which is just a misnomer because you can only ever do one thing at a time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Hands come down, step the right foot back. Heel goes down, hands come forward and up. If you think you're multitasking and doing more than one thing at a time, you just have microseconds between each thoughtful element of move, change, or whatever it is you're doing. You're never doing two things at once, except for breathing, but that's because your brain takes care of that without you thinking it. Auto-respiratory. Warrior two. I'll stop talking. Reach forward, flip that palm reverse. Come back to warrior two. Come back to warrior one. We're going to transition to warrior three. Upper body leans forward. I'm going to push off of this back foot so that I come to stand on my left foot. Oh, I'm too close to the wall. Pushing off this back foot so that I'm coming to stand on my left foot. Right foot is raised. It could be that far raised. Could be touching the floor. Hands can be up. Hands can be really high. Upper body could come forward, and you can get a little lower with the arms and a little higher with the leg. Trying to keep my hips level with the floor, or pretty close. Bring hands down to the floor and then slowly lower the leg. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Coming up to stand, take arms overhead. And we're going to do that other side, and I'm only going to cue the moves. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Left foot back, heel down. Hands forward up. Warrior one. Open to warrior two. Reach forward, flip the palms, sweep it back, reverse. Back to warrior two. Hand forward, warrior one. And now we're just leaning forward, letting our upper body come into this pose so we can propel off that back foot a little bit. Standing strong on the right leg. Left leg is raised. Hands out in front. I'm holding that beach ball like we were doing in warrior or in chair pose. Lowering my hands and lowering my leg. I'm stepping side to side. I'm bending one knee, straightening the other leg, loosening up that lower back again. Nice, slow roll all the way up to stand. And we'll do some tree poses. Vrikshasana. Tree pose. Trees are rooted really firmly into the ground, so that's what we do first. Right leg rooted into the floor. I feel like all four corners of that foot are on the floor. Hands can be wherever. They help you facilitate your balance. Long, vertical, straight lines, if you have one in front of you, they really can help balance. Drishti, focus on one thing. Focus on a spot to look at that is not moving. And from there, bring this left foot to the inside of your right calf. This left knee pointing out to the left side. We're going to regress a little here with a lower version of tree. But I'm really focusing on that drishti, that non-moving spot. I'm going to add a mudra, a hand gesture. I'm bringing my pinky and my thumb together, bottom of my palms together like a lotus flower. And I'm taking that to the ceiling like a lotus flower rising out of the mud in a pond, which is what they do. To make you think that better things will come. And lowering all of that back down to the floor, nice and slow, nice and smooth. Knee comes back forward and foot comes down. And we're going to do the other side. Very simple version of tree. I like regression poses. Sometimes I like to stretch and really get out there, push yourself, do different things. Sometimes coming back to fundamentals is a nice thing too. Same thing here. My left foot is rooted. My right foot is coming in against my calf. It's not against my knee. It's against my calf. Don't push lateral pressure on your knee, especially with the weight of your leg. We're going to do a different mudra this time. Index finger to thumb, other three fingers like OK sign. We're going to work through the different fingers in our hand as we're going through here. So arms at a comfortable spot. I like to kind of bring my shoulders back, a little bit of upper body stretch here. I'm going to walk my thumb to the rest of my fingers one at a time. Middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger. I'm focusing on that drishti, that spot that is not moving out in front of me. I'm going backwards. Ring, thumb to middle finger, thumb to index finger. We're going to walk back through each direction one more time. When I think too much, that's when my balance starts to waver. Thumb to middle, thumb to ring, thumb to pinky, thumb to ring, thumb to middle, thumb to index. Take arms overhead. Bring that knee forward and lower the foot. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Slowly roll up. Coming to the front of your space again. Take arms overhead. Exhale and fold. We're going to move our way to the floor here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Hands come down. Step your right foot back and bring that knee down onto the floor. The top of my back foot is on the floor. Bring your hands forward and up. Crescent lunge, but supported by the knee. We're taking some of the balance strain out of this. We're going to work on stretch rather than balance. And let your lower body drift forward, deeper into this lunge. Have a nice stretch in this front side of my hip flexor. From the lower part of my belly all the way down to my knee, I can feel that whole front side opening. That stretch feels too intense, just don't add the back bend. Bring your hands forward and inside of that front foot. My left shoulder's against my left knee, and I'm sweeping my right hand up toward the ceiling, turning and twisting my shoulders, upper body twists, open up to the right side. Bring that top hand down. Now we're going to take the left hand up to the left side, sweeping up opposite way. A little easier to twist on this side. IT band is not quite as involved. And get a little more room for this twist. Bring that top hand down, slide the left foot back. I'm going to switch feet. Right foot comes forward. Hands come forward and up. Crescent lunge, supported by the knee. And I'm letting my lower body just drift deeper into this lunge. This front side is really opening up. And you can add a back bend if it feels nice. And bring hands forward. Both hands come down inside of the front foot. We're going to turn and twist to the left. Sweeping that left hand up. Excellent. Nice work, guys. And then switch sides. Top hand comes down, right hand goes up. And that top hand comes down. We're going to bring the right leg back. I'm going to take knees wide. Knees are really wide. My toes are touching in the back here. Just let your upper body come down to the floor, resting into a child's pose. Just letting my forehead rest down on the floor.
I'm letting my shoulders be open. I'm not really reaching towards the front. You can reach fully forward if that feels good. I went for a long walk today. I'm living a little bit of challenge with my right knee, so I'm taking some pressure off by bringing my upper body up a little bit. You can stack hands on top of each other. I like this fist on top of fist pose with my hands. Gives me a lot of space. I still get a stretch with my knees, but I don't feel like there's a person sitting on my back pushing me down into that. My knees don't really want to go. I'm letting gravity work, but only with body weight, but giving it some space here. And then coming onto my elbows, I'm going to interlace my fingers. I'm going to slide my feet behind me, toes pushing down into the floor. I'm still on knees. And then I'm going to lift my knees, protecting my lower back, pulling my belly in towards my spine, hanging out in plank. You can hang out here for a little bit. You can always drop a knee if you need to take a break. Know your body. Test it as much as you're comfortable with, maybe up to the edge. Just push to the edge, just when you're about ready to go over the edge, just maybe bring down a knee. Otherwise, just keep working closer to that edge. And then slowly lower everything all the way down to the floor. Bring your hands down beside your body, beside your hips. Resting a cheek. Oh, that doesn't work very well with glasses. And I'm just resting. I'm just breathing in, filling up. Letting that tension that was in my body in plank work its way out. I'm going to push back up to all fours. Fingertips about the tops of shoulders. Just pushing up. Bringing knees in under hips, hands under shoulders. Pressing toes down into the floor and hips come up. Downward dog. I'm going to walk my hands back to meet my feet. Trying to keep my palms down as far back as I can. And I'm trying to keep the legs fairly straight. You can bend knees as much as you need to here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Coming up to stand. We have one more standing pose we're just going to play with. It's a stretch pose. It's a challenge pose. It's something to laugh about. It's not something to be beating yourself up about if it's a challenge. Some people will be able to go straight into this without any issues. Me, not so much. Right foot is rooted down into that floor. I'm bending and bringing my left knee up towards my chest, reaching down with my left index finger, and I'm wrapping it around that big toe. My right hand is on my hip for support and balance. I'm reaching this leg out in front, and then I'm taking it out to the side. If you need to keep knee bent while you're doing that, feel free. If you need to fall out, let go of your foot. And if you'd like to try, just keep coming back in a couple of times until you get into something that looks kind of like that. And then we're going to do other side. Again, it's just a playful thing.
There are strict versions of that. When I really want to practice it hard, I'll go over to a wall. Use wall for support. When I'm trying to really get my core muscles engaged and be able to do that. I'm not going to be able to do it on this side. This knee's going to tap out, but let's see where we get. Oh yeah, that knee is screaming. And come out. We're going to transition back down to the floor. Inhale, take arms overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Right knee down, left knee down. We're going to come sitting on to our bottom cross leg. Easy seated, Sukhasana. We're going to bring things down a little bit. Start lowering our heart rate. We're going to be nice and peaceful in about 14 minutes. So we're going to work our way there. Nice deep inhale and complete exhale. Just breathing. Breathe in through your nose, fill your belly, ribs and chest. Complete exhale. Exhale can be through your nose or through your mouth. Just get all of the air out on your exhale. Breathing at your own pace. Breathing in, filling up. If you're ever in yoga class and the instructor is not cueing breath, or they're cueing breath but really infrequently, they're not expecting you to hold your breath and follow their cue. They're just cueing you to remind you to breathe. Always, always in yoga, breathe on your own. Try to control. Try not to pant, but breathe. And breathe at your own pace and your own speed. Don't rush it. Going to uncross this right foot out to the right side. I'm sitting side saddle on the floor. Tendency is for your body to want to lean out here like this. We're going to do that in a minute, but first, I'm trying to stack these shoulders over top of these hips again. Feel a nice stretch here. All around these areas. Some areas are contracting, some areas are extending. But I'm feeling a nice hip stretch. A little bit of stretch in the knee feels nice too. It's not a super stretch on the knee, just enough. Feels like it's lengthening my knee apart a little bit, taking some of the pressure off. I'm going to turn my upper body to the left here. And I'm walking my hands forward, coming down onto the floor. It's a version of stag pose. There's a really nice stretch and twist to it. When your elbows and shoulders are level with the floor, you're turning your upper body here a little bit, so you're getting into a nice little twist, but also leaning forward just stretches these lower back sections just in a really nice way. Walking hands back up, bringing this leg back into the cross. Let's add a forward fold here with Sukhasana, cross legs. Inhale, arms overhead, and reach forward. And coming back up. Going to uncross this left leg out to the side. Their foot can be against the thigh or the knee if you'd like. You can have whatever spacing here in the lower section that helps facilitate this pose for you. And you may find imbalances in your body. You may find this is a little harder on one side than the other. And I'm working at getting these shoulders stacked over these hips. This side is definitely tighter for me. Everybody's different. Your body's constructed differently. We all have things that are accessible for us and maybe not other people. And reverse, some things people can do that we just really struggle with. It's not a failure. It's just the way your body is made. Or maybe it's where you're at in your journey. Maybe you just need some more stretching, some more classes, some more yoga. Every Monday, 6:30, here live. Feel free, come on back, bring your friends, bring your pets, bring goats. You can advertise it as goat yoga. We're going to turn upper body to the right, hands come down, and walk those hands out. And if you have a goat and he's doing yoga with you and you're taking pictures, please send those, link them somehow to the York County YMCA Facebook or YouTube page, or send a message through here and I'll connect some way. Or if you have a puppy or a guinea pig or a cat or a bunny rabbit, anything you got. Just getting a nice twist here from the hip. And then I'm walking hands back up. Coming back into that cross, but this time I'm going to cross opposite cross. If you're normally a lefter over righter, switch. We're going to forward fold. It might feel a little awkward with that different cross. I know it definitely puts a different feel into my legs and my knees. And then coming back up. We're going to transition on to our back. So if you have ceiling lights or if you have room lights that you'd like to dim or turn down, now is a good time. I'm going to kick this down a little bit. Come on to my back. All the way down onto the floor. But I'm going to hug this right knee in towards my chest, wrapping interlaced fingers around the knee. I'm not yanking on the knee, just a nice hug, steady pull. Pulling belly in towards my spine. Each exhale, I can pull just a little closer. Through the back of the night on my road, and dreams that led me back to you. Let it spark in the dark, every no choice. In the night, and we're going to switch legs. Right leg goes flat and hug that left knee in. Just giving it a nice hug here. If you have any kind of a lower back issue, any kind of pain or things with those lower back, or if you have extraordinarily tight lower back or hips, or if you've done a ton of yard work here recently, you can take this flat leg and bend that knee, put that sole of that foot on the floor a little bit, and you can watch my left knee come really closer to my chest in comparison. I moved probably a good inch there, at least, maybe 2, just because this right knee being bent gives my lower back so much more room to move. And then from here, you can moderate yourself into a little more stretch by letting that right leg slowly lower back down toward the floor. And when it gets to be too tight, or if you feel a pinch, just stop that leg from moving.
Bring your right knee in, hand on each knee, and we're just going to rotate hips around in a circle. Nice big circle with those knees, and each time my lower back massages itself at the bottom of the circle down into the floor. Just a nice little massage for your lower back. And then we're going to reverse direction. Anytime we twist, we always twist in the other direction. Anytime we rotate, you always unwind in the opposite direction. If we're doing back bends, I'm usually looking for ways to get a different curve, a forward fold type curve in there to counteract the back bend. Always looking for balance. Release those knees and let the soles of your feet come down on the floor. I'm taking my feet nice and wide here. If I was on a mat, my feet would be outside of the edge of the mat. And I'm letting my knees fall over to the right, keeping shoulders down on the floor. And I'm just letting this front side quadricep muscle and hip opener, just letting it stretch and feel long. A little bit of twist here in my back, but not a lot. And then we're coming back to center and let knees fall over to the left. Adjust feet if you need to. Otherwise, just stretching the other side. Little bit of a twist. Really more of a front side body opener. Feels good though. I'm starting to bring my breath into my body in 3 parts. Breathing in through my nose and filling my belly first, and then my ribs, and then my chest. And then on my exhales, I'm letting my chest fall, my ribs fall, and then last my belly fall. Even in this twist, 3 parts. Bringing knees back to center. You can keep soles of your feet on the floor if you like, or you can come into full Shavasana, nice flat prone, lying on your back. I like palms up. I love to feel the energy around me. If you need a little more grounding today, just put your palms down on the floor. If you need to feel a little more centered, you can hold your arms or hands against your body. And I'm just relaxing. I flop my feet around. Sometimes I'll just wave my hands around just to get the feeling of being loose and letting things go. Roll the head side to side. And then just flop wherever it flops, where everything goes. And I'm breathing in 3 parts. Breathe in through your nose, fill your belly, fill your ribs, fill your chest. One more full inhale, breathe in through your nose, fill your belly, fill your ribs, fill your chest, but this time just let the air drift out through your mouth across your tongue. Walk the soles of your feet back onto the floor and roll onto one side. Cradle your head, take a nice deep inhale, breathe in, fill up. Let that air drift out through your mouth. And then coming up to easy seated, cross legs, Sukhasana. We're going to put hands at heart center, palms together. I want you to take a nice deep inhale through your nose and then sigh it audibly out through your mouth. Thank you for sharing an hour. Hopefully it was enjoyable. Hope you found a little bit of peace, maybe a smile here or two along the way. May you be safe. May you all be at peace or find peace.
May you all be well and continue to be well. Above all, may you be happy. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Namaste. And if you'd like to tell your friends,